First of all, from a purely military perspective, Ukrainian forces only have to cross land borders to launch their attacks against Ukraine, whereas in the Taiwan context, Taiwan being an island is surrounded by water. So that definitely complicates any attempt by the Chinese military to take Taiwan by force. Another important element, I would say, is the fact that Ukraine has a sizable number of ethnic Russians, especially in parts of Ukraine that border Russia, who are to a certain extent amenable to Russia's intentions in Ukraine, who may have grievances against the Ukrainian government and somehow believe that they would have a better future if they were ruled by Russia. Now, Taiwan does not have that kind of sizable ethnic minority that would to the same extent, collaborate with invaders. We certainly have a number of individuals and small organizations in Taiwan that are pro-unification, but nowhere near the extent that we've seen in Ukraine.
And you've also talked about the significance of Taiwan, sort of geopolitically, economically.
In terms of certainly in recent years as well, the importance of Taiwan to the global supply chain, its leadership in semiconductor industry that has worldwide implications, but also the geographical location of Taiwan in an extremely important sea transit in East Asia, which means that any military activity in the Taiwan Strait and the kind of denial of access that the Chinese military would have to impose would have near catastrophic repercussions for global trade, which means that not to downplay the significance of Ukraine for European security, but from a purely global perspective, I would argue that contingency in the Taiwan Strait would have much greater implications, would be all the more destabilizing to the global economy. And I think countries like Taiwan, United States, and their like-minded allies could do more as well to make people worldwide realize that an attack on Taiwan would have real hard consequences for their livelihoods.
Still, what lessons, if any, should Taiwan be taking from Ukraine?
One big lesson, certainly, and I've noticed that quite a few people in Taiwan have taken note of that, is the fact that even in the face of extraordinary odds, if there is a whole of society response to this type of invasion, if people are playing different roles in defending their territory, defending their way of life, their democracy, they can make the lives of invading forces a lot more difficult. I think this serves as a very potent example for the Taiwanese, and that it is also their responsibility and that of the government to make sure that everybody plays a role in contributing to deterrence against these type of attacks, but also if indeed an attack occurs, to know what to do and to have access to different means and tools to make the lives of invading forces a lot more difficult. This is a great example of unity, of resistance, and I sure hope that the Taiwanese are inspired by what we're seeing in Ukraine right now.